Hello class, my name is Samuel Smith and today I'll be orally sharing my final Henrietta Lacks letter. I personally wrote a letter to the Office of Human Resources Protection in regards to humans and patients having the legal rights to have their own personal cells. I'm writing in regards to this because when reading this story and going through it, and also, I believe this came up in one of our discussions as well, going over this book. It just seemed like the pros outweigh the cons in this scenario. And specifically Henrietta's story, my heart just felt a lot of unjustness behind it. And I believe if humans have this right, that could prevent some of the discriminations and things that may not be so just that go on behind doors. It could eliminate some of that. So I'll dive in and read what I wrote, and I hope I did well. So, dear Head of Operations or whomever it may concern at the Office of Human Resources Protection, my name is Samuel Smith and I'm currently an online student at Chico State University. I'm studying social sciences and I have enrolled in a course where we read and go over books, specifically ones with social justice issues. We just finished reading the book, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, written by Rebecca Skloot. This was the first time I had ever heard of Henrietta Lacks and her story, and my heart was instantly captivated with what she had been through, and I felt distraught with how her situation was ultimately handled. I couldn't help but think of how many other different cases may have happened with minorities in health at this time, and maybe even still today. The reason I am writing this letter to you today is to bring awareness to the fact that minorities may not be represented to the fullest extent in our country, and specifically the health department. I come to you with the proposition to entitle health patients with the legal rights to their own cells personally. If this were the case, Henrietta would not have been wrongly informed, wrongly misrepresented, and she would have been fully able to know and do her own research of her situation and ultimately be in the driver's seat. As there are both pros and cons to having personal legal ownership and not, I believe that the pros of pushing to have your own rights to your own cells definitely outweigh the cons. In this story, Henrietta was not made aware of the fact of many things. One of, earlier on in the chapters, was that if she went through with the operation, she would not be able to have kids. To me, that is huge information that you cannot keep from somebody. It's a big deal and extremely unjust. As I hope things like this do not happen today, there were still many factors in the situation that were extremely unjust to Henrietta and her family. And if a similar case of the similar capacity were to happen today and it was passed that patients have legal rights to their own cells, the patient could do as she or he pleases with them. She or he can choose to sell and be rightfully compensated for the capacity of help and research provided to scientists or departments that the cells would be provided to. Firstly, I commend the growth and the long way that this department has come in our country and choose to recognize and applaud that. I believe that we can go even farther and take more steps to justly represent all people groups in this department of our country. If this proposition is something that you all have been interested or talked about and you would be willing to share your thoughts on, I would love to hear back from you. Thank you for your time to read through this letter, and I hope to be able to speak with a representative soon. Sincerely, Samuel Smith.